All right, guys, Brett here. Um, I sent you guys on a long email last week, so I figured today I would try a video instead. We'll see how this goes, but I try to give you some tools and things like that as a group we can continue to work on, as well as two. This doesn't just apply to our office. This applies to your life and anything else that you do with it. So take these to heart. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, if you practice this stuff, it's like anything else, like a sport. If you practice it not just once or twice, but consistently over a given period of time, you'll find success from it. And I think that's the part where we all have to look at the reality of the situation and the fact that, let's say the practice dips a little bit here and there, which most of us probably fall in that boat a little bit. That's what happens with transition. You have to get back to the basics and be consistent with the basics for a given period of time. It's not going to happen in a week. It's not going to happen in a month. It's not going to happen in 6 months type of thing. Over a given period of time, it'll work. And like we talked about it, we've got to raise our capacity. Our capacity is raised more between our ears than it is in what we do. We all get stuck and focused on what we're doing on a daily basis, which is really critical because we do need to do stuff on a daily basis, but it's got to come from the right intentions, the right focus, the right being, like we talked about before. So here's some simple stuff, though. This is something I've been kind of working on in my head a little bit in regards to from a practice standpoint, how do we keep people? It's not about keeping them, but it's about getting them to want to be here. They want to be here versus us forcing them to be here. If they feel like they're forced to be here, they're not going to refer people. They're not going to actually stick around very long. They don't have a good experience with it. So we want them choosing to be here. Those are the people who are excited about that refer people over to us. So 3 things with this, and I wrote them down on a piece of paper so that way you can see them because some people learn better by seeing them. But entertain, educate, execute. If we do those 3 steps, not necessarily in that sequential order, but we really focus on that in every single thing that we do, we win. So the entertain part of it on here. The thing to think of with this is just the fact that every time a person walks in, they want you to make them feel welcome, to make them feel important, to make them feel valued. And that entertaining part, think of it like as a performer. I mean, like take Garth Brooks, for example. He's won Entertainer of the Year, I don't know how many years in a row for country music. You go to a concert of his, it blows you away. They do all the little stuff, the extra little things that other people don't do, the fireworks, the length of the show, the extra, like quote unquote show parts of it. They do that because that creates value for them, and not for them, but for their paying customers at that point in time. So entertaining, like when people come in, knowing their name, know something about them, write these things down is one piece of it. Entertaining, making them smile. I mean, when people smile and they laugh, that creates endorphins. Those endorphins create a connection to where it is that they're at there. And even little stuff that you do, like get them a cup of water, hang their coat up for them, get their paperwork half filled out for them. Little things like that help people feel welcome. And feeling welcome is what we call entertaining on here. The second one is educate. We've got to educate people on an everyday basis as to why they're here. I'm trying to do a better job of creating articles and content right now that educates people on why they're here. As collectively as a whole, as a staff, we've got to do a better job of educating people on why they're here. Like not just how they feel, but ask them questions like, well, how's your sleep been lately? How's your energy been lately? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning in terms of your outlook on the day and things like that? How are you at the end of the day? Reminding them as to why they're here helps a ton. And getting them to understand like this is a part of their lifestyle. This isn't about back pain, neck pain, or whatever. This is a part of their lifestyle. Because I can guarantee you this, is that anybody that's here for longer than 3 months with us in this practice, their quality of life goes up at least tenfold. And by that I simply say is not just because their back pain went away or the neck pain went away that maybe quote unquote brought them in. It's because the little things are changing. But guess what? They don't always realize that. It's like the person who gains 50 pounds over 5 years. You don't know the difference because it happens so slowly. Same thing with this is the changes that are made here happen slowly. Therefore, a person's body, like I said, you don't sense it as much. But if you start asking them questions, I don't care if you're at the front desk, you're in the back office, or wherever you're at, you're one of the doctors, asking people about the changes that they've noticed. And then in that process, what the answer they give you, help give them some more direction with stuff like that. They say, well, my sleep's not great. Well, have you looked at in the nutritional side of stuff? What are you doing before bed? Things like that. Just little things. Like even if you don't have a health background, Like, it doesn't matter. Like, showing that you care, asking them questions and giving your 2 cents on it is educating them at that point in time. It's value. That's why people stay. And the execute part of it is good quality care. We as providers need to provide good quality care. We need to execute on what we say we're going to do. We do re-exams when we say we're going to do re-exams. We give them rehab exercises when we say they're going to give them rehab exercises. We execute on workshops in the office and outside of the office type of thing. We do what we say we're going to do. So that one's pretty simple. But at the end of the day, if we make people, I'm trying to point here, we make people feel valued, welcome, and cared for, we entertain them, they remember that. We educate them. That's what they realize why they're here and why they stay here over a period of time. And this is the glue that puts it all together. People always think of this. They always think of like the things that we do per se. We execute the things that we do. To be completely honest, this is probably the least important out of this entire list on here. But this is the glue that holds all this stuff together because we're following through on what we said we did before. So again, entertain, educate, execute. Think of these things. Every time a person's in, they should get a little bit of each of these every time. Every time they're on the phone, every time they're in front of us, every time they're after a video, an email, whatever we do, a Facebook post, any of that type of stuff. These 3 things are hit points on there. So hopefully you guys got some value out of this. We'll keep these things coming. If you get feedback, send me an email back or talk during the team meeting or whatever. But these are the things that make us better. We've got to keep practicing these things on a daily basis. Talk to you soon.